Today, we're going to have 6 officials take the ceremonial oath of office. They'll be called up individually. The 6, in order of their oaths, are Justice of the Peace, Karen Brisbane, County Clerk, Catherine McMullen, County Treasurer, Brian Nava, Assessor, Bronson Rueda, my apologies, Rueda, and Commissioner Ben West, and Commissioner Paul Savas. After their respective oaths, each of the office holders will sign a certificate and have an opportunity to give their inaugural speech. And with that, let's get started. We will begin tonight's ceremony with Justice of the Peace, Karen Brisbane. Judge Brisbane, please come on up and join me. You ready, Judge?
I'm ready.
Please repeat after me. I, Karen Brisbane,
I, Karen Brisbane,
have been duly elected
have been duly elected
to the office
to the office
of Clackamas County
of Clackamas County
Justice of the Peace.
Justice of the Peace.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of
of
Oregon,
the State of Oregon,
and I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and honorably perform the duties
perform the duties
of Clackamas County
of Clackamas County
Justice of the Peace
Justice of the Peace
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
We're going to do a signature and then you get to speak, okay? So let me get our paperwork out here. You just did it. So. Okay, that's fine too. Are you going to take that, or we'll just hold on to all of them? Okay. And with that, let me get out of your way.
Chair Smith, County Commissioners, elected officials, Administrator Schmidt, friends and family members, good evening. Thank you to the voters of Clackamas County for your ongoing support of the Justice of the Peace position as I begin my 3rd term of office. It's a nice 6-year term, so I'll be here for a while. But have you thought about what's in a title, Justice of the Peace? Is the first thought that pops into your mind when you hear Justice of the Peace a wedding ceremony? Justice courts judges do perform weddings and a lot more. We hear a wide variety of cases from traffic to fish and wildlife, small claims and civil cases. Even though justice courts have their origins dating back to the 12th century England, today the courts have been modernized by technology. The paper files have been thrown out and left behind. Judges are attorneys who serve 6-year terms after being elected. Justice Court is a trial court that is controlled by Oregon revised statutes that define laws and court procedures. Every day at work, judges listen to intriguing legal arguments, then make decisions after applying the law to the facts presented by the parties, as well as educating local residents about how laws apply to their specific individual cases. But back to weddings. After hundreds of weddings, there are ceremonies that stand out. Picture a clear, sunny day, New Year's Day on Mount Hood. The wedding ceremony was at the historic warming hut that's partway up the mountain with unbelievable panoramic views. The wedding party headed off on the ski lift to the top, and a snowcat took me to the hut where I waited for the bride and groom to ski down from the top of the mountain back to the hut. The ceremony went off without a hitch. The bride and groom pinned just married signs on the back of their ski jackets and happily skied off down the slope. I looked around. There was no snowcat. The operator suddenly left during the ceremony because she received a radio call that her daughter had been injured in a skiing accident on the slopes. Her daughter was okay, but she had to leave immediately, and I was stranded. Well, eventually, You might guess the ending. Eventually, the ski patrol rescued me. They skied me down the mountain in one of the rescue baskets. Or the ceremony at the court for the auto mechanic. A friend of the bride dropped off a white wedding gown in the morning at the court office so it would be a surprise during the noon ceremony. The bride and groom arrived at the court together. The bride excused herself to the bathroom, and when she came out of the bathroom, she was wearing a beautiful white wedding gown. Since the groom had only seen the bride in her greasy auto mechanic clothes until that moment, his reaction was memorable. Whether we're officiating weddings or listening to cases in the courtrooms, judges have a rewarding job, and I thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Okay, next up is our county clerk, Catherine McMullen. Come on up. You ready? Just raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Catherine McMullen,
I, Catherine McMullen,
have been duly elected
have been duly elected
to the office
to the office
of Clackamas County Clerk.
of Clackamas County Clerk.
Do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Oregon,
of the State of Oregon,
and I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
perform the duties
perform the duties
of the Clackamas County Clerk
of the Clackamas County Clerk
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Ceremonial signing here. If you would, and then I will. You have the floor.
Thank you. Chair Smith, Board of County Commissioners, Honorable Judge Wetzel, fellow elected officials, county staff, and voters and residents of Clackamas County. Standing here this evening as your elected clerk, I feel a great honor, immense joy, and critical responsibility to you, the people of our county. I gratefully acknowledge the Clackamas, Chinook bands, Kalapuya, Calumet, Molalla, Multnomah, Tualatin, Tumwater, Wasco, and the many other tribes of the Willamette Valley in western Oregon on whose ancestral homelands we gather. We recognize their accomplishments as the native stewards of these lands, as well as the diverse and vibrant native communities that are an integral part of who we are today. Without a full representation of everyone's experience, we will never be able to imagine and develop a better future. Tonight, we stand here in what is now Oregon City, the county seat, a county first created as the Clackamas District, one of 4 far-reaching Oregon districts in 1843, redesignated as a county soon after in 1845. Well before Oregon even became a state in 1859. And at this time, Oregon's provisional government designated 3 key offices for local governance: a sheriff to keep the peace, a treasurer to keep the money, and a county clerk to keep and safeguard the public record. The county clerk to this day acts as the official keeper of the county's records and ensures access to local government through conducting elections and managing public records. Obviously, now we have more elected offices. We have 11 elected officials that keep, protect, and serve at the pleasure of the voters. We have 16 incorporated cities, almost 100 special districts, so think your schools, fire, water, parks, and many unincorporated communities of distinct character and culture that make us who we are today. To serve as your county clerk and be a small part of this story of place and people from before Oregon's statehood is a great honor. I'm here only to write a page or two of the story in service to the people of Clackamas County. My family and I chose to make Oregon our home and to raise our children here in Clackamas County. We live in Westland, just on the other side of the river. I have a rural upbringing, and the oldest of 3 girls, the daughter of small business owners and a well driller. We lived at the end of a dirt road, and it was the kind of childhood that you take for granted until you leave home for the big city, and only realize then that it was both unique and formative. Neither of my parents went to college, but they made sure that each of the girls did. I have a BA from UC Davis, a first master's in library and information science from the University of Washington, and then from the Hatfield School of Government recently an executive master's in public administration. I've served as an elections administrator, mostly here in Oregon since 2015, after being a public librarian for more than a decade. And as a librarian, I helped people find the information and resources they needed to be successful in their lives. Success that's defined by that person for themselves, their families, and their communities. So when I made that move from books to ballots, the same purpose of self-determination carried over into my role as an elections administrator and as a county clerk. My 10-year-old daughter says very simply, my job is to help people vote. And she's right, it really is that simple. My job is to ensure that every eligible voter has easy access to the ballot each and every election, and that each election is conducted accurately, transparently, and securely. I'm committed to serving all the residents and voters in this county. My office oversees elections, recording and records management departments, and the clerk's office is nonpartisan. It's going to be a space where everyone has equal access to quality services and secure elections. If you have questions or you want to learn more about what the clerk does, from elections to records management, real property recording, to soon officiating weddings, I'm here to listen and I'm here to serve. As of tonight, I've been on the job for just over 100 hours. So I think it's time for a status update. In the brief time I've begun to address our most pressing challenges head first. I've hired a highly qualified and dedicated elections manager to bring stability and support to our hardworking elections team. We've immediately moved forward on the March 14th special election for the city of Westland and the May 16th special districts election that's going to be countywide. We're addressing lingering issues from the 2022 elections and putting robust project management, proofing, and support in place. And personally, I'm building relationships with each of my 18 staff in 3 departments, as well as with stakeholders across the county and in our many jurisdictions. We're rebuilding public trust demonstrated through good and effective government. We have work ahead of us. I have work ahead of me. But each of us in this room tonight and in the county has a part in upholding election integrity, strengthening democracy, and participating in local decision-making and governance. I call on you to participate. Register to vote and update that registration when you move. Vote. Vote in each and every election. Local elections are especially important. And if you want to see change, consider running for office. The first day of candidate filing for the May special district election is February 16th, so that's coming right up. Remember, these are your community volunteers who have stepped up to serve on your school board, water district, or fire board. And finally, do find what works for you. Participate, volunteer, be informed, and be an active part of your local government. Use your voice. We're here for you, and we are listening, and it is an honor to serve as your county clerk. Thank you.
Next will be our treasurer, Brian Nava. Brian, come on up. Ready, sir?
Yep.
I, Brian Nava,
I, Brian Nava,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office
to the office
of Clackamas County Treasurer,
of Clackamas County Treasurer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Oregon,
of the State of Oregon,
and I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
perform the duties
of
the Clackamas County Treasurer
the Clackamas County Treasurer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Sign here.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Treasurer, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I'm nervous and excited, and so I hope you bear with me as I kind of fumble through a few minutes here that I have with you guys tonight. First, thank you, Judge Wetzel, for so graciously performing this ceremony. I'd like to congratulate my fellow elected officials and colleagues who are being sworn in, Commissioner Ben West, Commissioner Paul Savis, Clerk Catherine McMullen, Assessor Bronson Rueda, and Justice of the Peace Karen Brisbane. I look forward to continuing to work collaboratively with each of you and the other elected officials at Clackamas County. First, some thanks to give. I want to thank my former Deputy Treasurer, Nancy Wilson, for her years of service and friendship in and outside of the county. The Treasurer's Office would not be the same without her service of 22 years here at the county. I know her and Scott and the dogs are enjoying her retirement in the trailer, at the beach, and at Sisters, all their other adventures. I want to also acknowledge my predecessor, trusted mentor, colleague, and most importantly, friend, Sherry Anderson, who so capably served as Clackamas County Treasurer for 20 years. Sherry continues to be a wealth of information and knowledge for me. She has provided nothing but valuable guidance and useful insight during my time as treasurer. Without Sherry's leadership and mentoring, I would not be in this role today. I truly am thankful for everything she continues to do for me, the Treasurer's Office, and Clackamas County. And thanks to all of you for attending. A little background about myself. After graduating from Linfield College, I worked for the Secretary of State Audits Division for 12 years. I came to Clackamas County in 2015 as the first appointed internal auditor. I like to be involved in our community. Some of my hobbies include participating at Rotary, being involved with our Chambers of Commerce, serving on the Children's Center Board, Clackamas Repertory Theater Board, coaching youth, and more. For those who don't know, I'm also a volunteer firefighter for the Canby Fire Department and have been so since 2009. And because of my background 4 years ago at this same event, I joked about being pretty well versed in putting out both actual fires and financial fires when they occur, but I'm still not sure which one's more difficult. I am honored to stand before you as I begin my second term as Clackamas County Treasurer. You and our residents are served by hardworking staff in the Treasurer's Office performing treasury and internal audit functions. We are small, but we are mighty. I am truly grateful to work with such great people. So what do I say about the last 4 years? Like many of you, it has been the most challenging period of my career, but I am happy to say it has also been the most rewarding. Because of COVID, I watched my colleagues roll their desktops out of the office on chairs, and I'll admit to being anxious with questions filling my head. Would our computers work effectively and efficiently from home? Will it be challenging for my colleagues to even work from home? Can we continue to provide great service? I can tell you what, I've never been so proud to work with such a dedicated, smart, capable, and maybe most importantly, supportive staff and colleagues. At every obstacle, at every disaster, at every challenge, and there were many, we stepped up. A lot of late nights, long phone calls, and even long chats on this new program you might have heard of called Zoom. We truly modeled the term coined by Rotarians of service above self. And as a public servant for my entire career, I'd like to take a minute to talk about that term, service above self. Now, I didn't plan this, but a good Rotarian friend of mine, veteran, and just overall great human being, Larry Mosley, is in the audience, and he talked about a couple weeks ago about what it means to do or be service above self. And it made me think, what does service above self mean to me as your county treasurer? I've learned service above self cannot be done alone. So when I say service above self, it's not just me I'm talking about. I'm talking about my family who supported me so I could support my colleagues to do the great work we do. I'm talking about my mother-in-law and father-in-law who we lost these recent years, who put up with this sarcastic dummy. And then when we said, I have this sick baby that can't go to daycare, but we got to get to work at the county, and with no questions asked, they took our kids. When I say service above self, I'm reminded of the story of JFK talking to the janitor at NASA, and JFK asked him, "What do you do for NASA?" And the janitor, who was mopping the floor at the time, said, "Well, Mr. President, I'm helping put a man on the moon." The Treasurer's Office is putting a man on the moon. When I say service above self, I think about the transportation workers on Mount Hood moving the snow and ice so you and your families can make it safe, make it home safe. When I say service above self, I'm talking about my colleagues at Health, Housing, and Human Services who week after week put on trainings, show compassion to those in need, and wave signs on the corners of the streets to tell people you matter, because you do. When I say service above self, I think about my friends in the jail and out on patrol. My biggest worry is a paper cut. Theirs is, will they be home to see their families tomorrow morning? And last but not leastly, when I say service above self, I think of my friends behind the scenes, some of them who are here tonight, PGA, HR, Finance, County Council, Facilities, County Administration, TS, and many more. I want to let you know I see you, my friends. I appreciate all you do. And you and us, we are putting a man on the moon. I look forward to continuing to serve the people of Clackamas County with dignity, integrity, and excellence. On my new term as treasurer, here are my priorities. Continue our prudent investing by ensuring funds are safe, liquid, and achieve the best yield possible. Continue to train our cash handlers on good cash controls throughout the county. Continue to produce accurate and timely tax distributions so our cities, schools, water districts, fire districts, and all the other 100-plus taxing districts can operate without interruption. Increase transparency and accountability of county operations. Work to increase secure electronic payments, saving the county and our residents time and money. But anything I do here at Clackamas County couldn't be done without the love and support of my family and friends. They have been an inspiration to me and motivate me daily. Without their love and support, today would not have been possible. Many friends offered to help with my campaign by knocking on doors and bringing out old signs to put in their yards. My first sign was written on the back of a pizza box with love. If you get close enough to the sign, I think you can still smell the pepperoni. My parents and siblings and in-laws have always been there through thick and thin to provide a hug when I was down or a gentle or sometimes not so gentle nudge when I needed correction. And to my sisters who are teachers and all the teachers out there, the perseverance and Herculean effort you perform to switch and try to teach kids, including my kids, online in a matter of months, you never cease to amaze me. To my mom, thank you for showing me to lead with your heart and compassion. And to my dad, thank you for showing me how important it is to work hard and to show up every day. To my kids, Braxton and Leilani, who probably didn't know what their dad was doing 4 years ago and why the heck their mom let him do it. I knew the day would come when my kids would have to take care of me. I did not think it would come so soon. When I talked before about people stepping up to the challenges of COVID and disasters upon disasters, I think we all know that adjusting to the new world came at a cost of time with our family, a cost of our own mental health, and a cost of our own well-being and self-care. Finding a new work-life balance, and only in a matter of days, was difficult. Dining tables became workspaces, small side spaces became classrooms. For my wife and me, it was our kids that helped us during those long and late days, who would come over and close our laptops and take us out for our evening walks, throw the ball, or just relax with us on the couch. Braxton and Leilani, I thank you and I love you. For my wife and me, and last but not least, to my wife, who had the unfortunate luck to share the other end of the dining room table with me that we affectionately called our shared desk and office. Megan, thank you for being my strength when I need it. Thank you for giving me confidence when I have none. You're the most supporting and caring wife, and I can never thank you enough for what you do for me and our family. You're my rock in the stormiest of seas, and I feel I never thank you enough for being the greatest support. I am the luckiest in love and the happiest husband by my wife's side. They say you never know what comes after happily ever after, but I do. You've made my life a fairy tale, and I'm so grateful to have such a wonderful wife and life, and I love you forever. Once again, thank you all for being here tonight, and thanks to the people of Clackamas County for putting their trust into me to continue to protect the public's interest and help improve Clackamas County. Thank you.
Ready.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Bronson Rueda,
I, Bronson Rueda,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office
to the office
of Clackamas County Assessor,
of Clackamas County Assessor,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Oregon,
of the State of Oregon,
and I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
perform the duties
perform the duties
of the Clackamas County Assessor
of the Clackamas County Assessor
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Does this raise up at all?
No, they set it up for me, so sorry. Would you sign if you can? Assessor Rueda, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Going off script here a little bit. Great speech, Brian. I'll have to remind myself in 4 years if I'm in this position again and you are there, I have to go before you instead of after you. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bronson Rueda, the Clackamas County Assessor. When folks first get to know me, they typically ask me 3 questions. I will go ahead and answer those questions now for you. Answer number 1, I'm 6'5" 3/4. My wife often tells me to round up to 6'6", but I like to be precise when it comes to numbers. It helps to be precise with numbers in my profession. Answer number 2, yes, I do play basketball. I'm in a 45 and over weekly pickup game. My kids refer to it as old man basketball night. Answer number 3, the weather up here is the same as it is for you. Okay, let's get down to business. I have over 20 years of experience in the assessment and taxation field, which includes holding the position of Clackamas County Deputy Assessor since March 2019. I was appointed Clackamas County Assessor as of July 1st, 2022. Now, as an elected official, I feel very fortunate and honored to have the voters of Clackamas County elect me as their assessor. The amount of support that I have experienced has been humbling, and I could not have done this alone. I want to thank a few people for helping me on this journey. First and foremost, I want to thank the former Clackamas County Assessor, Tammy Little. Her professionalism, advice, and friendship were, and still are, invaluable to me. She has truly been an inspiration. Thank you, Tammy. Next, I would like to thank my leadership team, Lynn Longfellow, Melissa Coy, Megan Nava, Todd Cooper, and John Bonet. I feel my leadership style gives them the opportunity to take ownership in their work, make decisions that impact processes and procedures, and I rely on them day in and day out. I can tell you now, they do not disappoint. As a department director, they make my job easier, and I hope they understand that. Thank you, leadership team. Next, a huge thank you to all the assessment and taxation staff. When I was appointed the assessor in July of last year, I met individually with each person in my department to have a 15-minute discussion to give them a history of my work experience and to let them know what my expectations are of them and to acknowledge I have a high degree of appreciation for them. There is no way I could have been successful as the deputy assessor and now as the assessor without their enthusiasm to work hard every day. In short, the staff are the backbone of my department. Thank you, assessment and taxation staff. Lastly, I want to thank my family for their patience and willingness to put up with me. I can't speak for other assessors, but I know it can't be easy sometimes living with this assessor. Thank you, family. Now I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about the priorities I have for my 4-year term. My overarching objective is to administer the property tax laws of Oregon in a fair and equitable manner. Nearly all the work my department does is mandated by statute, rule, or the Oregon Constitution. This includes mapping and appraisal of all property in Clackamas County, the preparation of property assessment and taxation rules, and the collection of property taxes. Another priority for me is to put an emphasis on providing excellent customer service. The 3 assessors before me all focused on customer service, and I plan to continue down this path. I think our customers expect this, and I know our staff expect themselves and their peers to continue to deliver excellent customer service. Finally, I am a proponent of technology, and I will strive to be on the forefront of creating efficiencies that will promote fiscal responsibility for our county. For example, last year, we consolidated our tax statement printing and mailing process down to 1 vendor. Doing so mitigated the risk of mistakes and saves money. Because of this change, all property owners in Clackamas County now have the option to reduce their paper footprint by receiving property tax statements electronically instead of in the mail. Even you, Chair Smith. So in case you didn't pick up on it, this is my shameless plug for our new e-statement product that is now available. To sign up, locate your e-notices authorization code on your property tax statement. Then go to www.enoticesonline.com and follow the steps to sign up for paperless billing. This will save time, money, postage, and paper. In closing, it is known that our property tax system is very complex. My pledge to the public is to help you manage this complexity. The department I am now fortunate to lead stands ready to answer your questions and help you navigate the property tax laws of Oregon. Thank you.
Okay, it's time for the commissioners. Commissioner West, we'll get this back down to reasonable level. Ready?
I'm ready.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Ben West,
I, Ben West,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office
to the office
of Clackamas County Commissioner,
of Clackamas County Commissioner,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Oregon,
of the State of Oregon,
and I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and honorably
and honorably
perform the duties
perform the duties
of Clackamas County Commissioner
of Clackamas County Commissioner
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Oh. And then we will, then it'll be all yours.
It's different. Where am I signing? Right there, okay. Thank you. Good evening, Clackamas County. Thank you all for being here tonight. I wish we had more seating, but it's a great show of support for all of us that you guys are willing to listen to a bunch of politicians blabber on and stand in the back. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming tonight. I want to thank all of the other elected officials in the room. Those that I have gotten to know on the Board of Commissioners and have already begun to serve with, and those of you here in the legislature that are in the room, those here with the Metro Council, Sheriff Brandenburg, John Wentworth, the DA. Thank you all. I look forward to serving with you as colleagues. But I want to give a really quick shout out to the staff of Clackamas County. Now, I've only been here for 2 weeks. ish, about 100 hours, right? But we've hit the ground running. Long days doing the work right away to solve chronic problems. And I am incredibly impressed with the staff, their professionalism, and the support that they give all of us here. And let's be honest, most of the time they're just making us look good, but I'm really proud of them. And Gary, you're a great leader, and thank you for the work that you do as county administrator. I'm going to go off script here a little bit. I want to introduce myself to you guys. Some of you guys may not totally know who I am. I'm a sixth-generation Oregonian. My family has called this place home for a long time. From Oklahoma Greats of Wrath, as Okies coming up and doing migrant farm work and settling in Umpqua Valley, to the German farmers that migrated over here on my father's side in Mount Angel. I was born in North Portland in the exact same home that my father grew up in. And now we live in Clackamas County. In 2014, my family moved to Wilsonville, where I was honored to serve for 4 years as a Wilsonville city councilor, where I got to learn about local government, how these things work, make some mistakes, cut my teeth on things, and grow as a public servant. Now I also work as a nurse at OHSU. I'm a cardiology RN. And nursing informs so much of what I do. And how does public service and nursing go hand in hand? See, nursing is about caring for people. There's people in this room that taught me at a young age that I was called to care, that it's about people. And so as a nurse, I learned how to do that at the bedside and in the community, but I also loved policy and had to find a way to merge the two. And I did that through the field of nursing. And that worldview from my profession will inform the kind of work I do as your county commissioner. I will look at you as individuals in the community with specific needs that need to be met. And we're here as your county commission to make sure those needs are met and to take chronic problems head on. Some of the main things I would like to focus on in my first term is public health and homelessness. Not one of us in this room have not been impacted by that. Not one business, not one person. Often we walk down the street and it's almost become normal to step over bodies or people with mental health disorders living in their dysfunction or those with the chronic illness of addiction trapped and dying in front of us. Sometimes we have to have a new solution and go a new way, and I promise to be innovative in the way we tackle these issues, to be humane and look at them as a person with intrinsic value and worth that has something still to offer in our community, and to not forget about them and no longer allow them to languish in the streets as if they don't matter. The time for inability to solve the problem is past, but I know that this board is committed to solving this persistent problem, working with the stakeholders in the communities and these other electeds. In Clackamas County, we will do it a different way, and we are committed to solving this problem. I am in awe by Sheriff Brandenburg and the rank and file and the men and women in law enforcement. Let's just be honest. In Portland, we have got that wrong too often. They are not to blame. I just did a 14-hour ride-along this last weekend. Started around 10 in the morning and ended at midnight. I saw the men and women on our law enforcement do things that law enforcement previously has never been asked to do. The level of professionalism, therapeutic communication, servant leadership, access to resources, coordinating other departments within the county to be solution-oriented men and women trying to be dedicated to their community and doing it when we demand perfection from them because people's lives are at stake. They are the shield that defends us against criminal activity, and they do it day in and day out, and often are all too often demonized for the work that they do. But in Clackamas County, we support the men and women that wear that badge. We will make sure they are fully funded and taken care of, and we'll make sure that the needs are met and their families are safe and secure, and that every law enforcement officer wishes that they can be an officer in our county because we're the county that will support them. It wasn't that long ago that we just endured crisis after crisis, right, Chair? I'm going to talk about one of those crises, but I'm going to back up. Actually, I just want to give, I, from the outside looking as a local affected, watch these elected officials take on a multitude of crises in the last 2 years that it was like a rash of plagues or something. I don't know what's happening. We had to deal with the pandemic. The forests were ablaze. The skyline looked like Armageddon. People were choking on smoke. Then we had the Great Freeze, which was a disaster even for local communities like Wilsonville's, trees down everywhere, housing issues, people freezing. Then we had the Great Heat Dome. And so it's literally been crisis after crisis after crisis while still maintaining services, while still making sure the vulnerable were taken care of, while still doing it the Clackamas County way. The burden on their shoulders was great, and I'm not here to judge because I wasn't in that role, but I am very proud of every one of you that endured that. Chair Smith, you led valiantly through that effort, and I appreciate the work that you did as a leader. Forest management. Mayor Scott Kaiser's here from Molalla, maybe Mayor Drinkwine's here. We had a serious crisis when our forests were ablaze. I mean, we were talking about even evacuating Charbonneau. I remember even as a local community, we all were like in threat dynamics, and they gave you a number like be ready to evacuate, and they were, it was pretty serious stuff. And we learned a lot from that as a local leader in Wilsonville, but also as the county as a whole, how to have better responses to emergencies that we may face, how to work with our stakeholders to create policies for better forest management, to be innovative in a way on shoestring budgets and working with local communities who knew how to meet their needs the best, how to work with them directly. So we have more work to do there. I know that that's a priority of the board with crisis management, and I look forward to doing that work to make sure that we even have a better response next time we have an emergency. And then I'm going to talk about tolling. We can't not talk about tolling. This board, just to be clear, all 5 of us, regardless of party affiliation or where we come from, are 100% opposed to tolling. Can I say that? Can I speak for the board on that? They're nodding. I can speak for, I'm only one. Can I speak for the board? Let's talk about Metro and ODOT's tolling scheme that is disproportionately on the backs of Clackamas County. Let's just distill away, let's quiet the noise and distill to what it is. It's mean policy designed to divert people away and change their behaviors away from their cars and put some type of Portland model on Clackamas County. It's mean. It's bad policy. Some of you in this room may not know that ODOT told us that it will cost $160 per driver in every household to drive up and down 205 to get to and from work. Now, I do some of the grocery shopping in my family, and I'll tell you what's happened to bacon the last couple years. For 3 pounds of bacon, the Safeway package is $21 right now. Gas is $4 to $5 a gallon. I just read an Oregonian article where people are selling their property at the pawn shop. That should be a canary in the coal mine that our community is not healthy. People cannot afford this tolling scheme in Clackamas County. Traffic will begin to divert into Oregon City, West Lynn, Wilsonville, Lake Oswego, causing gridlock, the inability for goods and services to freely move. It will be difficult to pick up your kid from school, and Stafford Road will become a mess. More people will die because of inappropriate use of county roads, and ODOT has no plan to solve it. Tolling's bad because it's inequitable in a way that it hurts the single mom trying to get to Clackamas Town Center because she still has to provide for her family, but she gets to pay the toll for the pleasure of driving on freeways that my grandfather already paid for. And I promise you that we will be as aggressive and innovative and creative as possible in Clackamas County to stop the tolling scheme throughout the state. But they're trying to do it first here, and we're not going to let them. My commitment to you is to be a problem solver. I'm in local government. You guys elected us to solve things on a local level and to make it better, that you can feel it in your everyday life. Because People often don't pay too much attention to local government, but they also should realize that it's the government closest to you, and it's the government impacts your life the most. So you elect us to be nonpartisan problem solvers, and that is my goal, is to look at chronic problems and solve them. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something that we probably all have heard about in Oregon and in the Portland area. You know, it wasn't that long ago that we were where everyone wanted to come for a new beginning, a new opportunity. The Oregon Trail was all about that. Many risked their lives across the trodden trail, risked everything they had to come to a land of promise, and that place was Oregon. Time magazine dubbed, rightly so, the brawny woodsman sitting atop the Capitol. I can see him looking across to Oregon, now with a new migration. His axe is probably a little heavier. We have a reverse migration now where people no longer feel safe in their communities. They no longer feel like their businesses can prosper. They no longer can trust their government, and they're fed up. But this time, they're voting with their feet and not at our ballot box for change because they don't see any more hope in Oregon. They're leaving for Texas, Tennessee, Florida, almost anywhere else, but they're leaving. We all feel that and have heard that story. I've talked to those friends that say, I just can't take this anymore. It's insane. But I believe that the health of this state is primarily, it must happen in Clackamas County. Clackamas County is a spearhead for change within the state. We're often the bellwether and sometimes the firewall against the insanity and extreme policies that we are all upset about, like tolling. And so we promise, and I promise, to continue to bring the effective change that make people want to do business in Clackamas County, raise their families in Clackamas County, send their kids to the schools in our county, because we are coming with practical solutions to solve real problems because we're about fixing stuff as a local government. And I want to tell you what type of leader I want to be for you. The people in this room instilled in me at a very young age, what is servant leadership? What is that about? And I'm going to try to grow and learn in this with you. Servant leadership is about empowering those around you to grow. It's about taking your ideas and partnering with you, linking arms and showing you how to be successful and collaborate together to do that. It's about stewardship of our resources, of our finances, of our money, of our vision, of our common goals. It's about empowering you to be the best you can be so that our community can be stronger and roots can go deep and we can weather any storm or burden that comes our way. That's the type of leader I hope to be for you. And I'm going to close with this quote from one of my American heroes, Frederick Douglass. He says, it's a short quote, so don't worry, I'm almost done. I always tell Chair Smith and the board I'm not good at brevity, but if you're lucky this mic isn't disconnected because I'm probably dancing all over the stage. Frederick Douglass said this. He said, opportunity is important, but exertion is indispensable. I promised to work hard for you. Y'all gave me an opportunity and I needed that. But I promise to show up. I promise to put in the long hours, to go where most politicians aren't willing to dive in and go, to learn, and to listen, and to help lead you guys in a better direction, alongside you. It is about putting in the work and showing up. And so with that, you guys, thank you again for the honor to get to serve as your new Clackamas County Commissioner. I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Last, but certainly not least, Commissioner Savas.
Ready, Commissioner? Please raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Paul Savas,
I, Paul Savas,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
to the office
to the office
of Clackamas County Commissioner,
of Clackamas County Commissioner,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Oregon,
of the State of Oregon,
and I will faithfully and honorably
and I will faithfully and honorably
perform the duties
perform the duties
of Clackamas County Commissioner
of Clackamas County Commissioner
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Signature, Commissioner.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I know that some of the elected officials were recognized. I want to make sure that Mayor Scott Kaiser is recognized. I saw Mayor Rory Bliatowski here, Councilor Baumgartner from West Lynn. Is there any other elected officials in the room that haven't been recognized of yet? Who?
Senator Bonham.
Oh, Senator Bonham. Oh, in the back of the room. Welcome, Senator. Thank you. My hearing is not as good. My hearing is actually, it's not as good as it used to be. I had more hair 12 years ago when I was first sworn in. But I really appreciate very tough acts to follow. Commissioner West conversation. I tell you, whether it's the campaign trail or elsewhere, following Ben's very tough because he does a great job. He's a great speaker, and I mean that with sincerity. And you've only seen the beginning. He's very impressive. We talk about service, and just a little bit about me. I'm going to go off script a little bit about me. And by the way, I reduced the words from about 2,500 to 650. So, so the extra stuff here is going to add on to the 650. I'll build back up to 1,000. But my grandparents immigrated here, all four of them, from Constantinople in the 1915, 1916, 1918, escaping the genocide in that area at the time. So my background's different than a lot of folks here. My family spoke multiple languages, and I grew up in a setting in which my dad put me to work when I was 9 years old. And I was thinking, if I lost this election, I could retire, and I've been working for 55, 56 years. Because I started when I was 9 years old, or actually, maybe I'm doing the math wrong today, but I'm 66 years old. My dad put me to work when I was 9. I've been working ever since, held several jobs, but I get the work ethic. I ran a business in California. I ran a business in Eugene. I ran my business here in Clackamas County for 25 years, and it's about service. And that really means, it means a lot. We're expected to serve. And we take on a lot of responsibility. And this is an awesome job. And when I say awesome, the responsibility, the things that we do here at the county, the staff do, the employees, it's so complex. And the work that's being done, it really is incredible. Ben touched on, Commissioner West touched on the crises we've been through in the last couple, 3 years here. The first business meeting I took was the first crisis 12 years ago when we had the Lolo Pass floods and the bridge blew out. The first emergency, the first meeting. So it seems like it just keeps coming, whether it's weather or whether it's other issues. But, we deal with it. We tackle it, and I just, again, been impressed with all my colleagues. So first of all, I'll get started on my script. I want to express my gratitude to all of those who supported me in my 2010 campaign, 2014, 2018, and especially now, 2022 re-election campaign. I want to give extra thanks to my campaign team who maintained their professionalism through the adversity of a very difficult campaign environment of falsehoods and distortions. But you know, every election's been that way. But that intensity seems to ramp up. It's unfortunate because I always look forward to the election to bring the issues out, to talk about the issues and what's important, and to find out if I'm missing something, what those are. So it's a great opportunity to connect. And it's been a long 16 months, I'll say that. The key issues I heard during the campaign, narrowing it down to 3, included homeless solutions, public safety, and tolling. These have been and will continue to be top of my list, but there are a lot of others that go below the list, but not that far below the list. There's a lot of important issues. It is such an honor to serve. I can't tell you. To me, it's like surreal sometimes when I come to work, thinking about the responsibility we all face here. Yet I'm humbled by the unprecedented challenges we face. My public service began as a community volunteer 25 years ago. My first election to office was in May of 2001, and many successful elections since then that total 22 years of continued elected service, all on boards of 5 members, 5-member boards and commissions. To each of my fellow colleagues on those district boards and my colleagues on the county commission, I thank you all for the experience and the accomplishments we shared. Like a basketball team, one member does not succeed alone. It requires unselfish commitment to succeed on behalf of the constituents we serve. Looking back, I cherish the successes of the teamwork, the accomplishments of the team, all the while recognizing we have our shortcomings. We don't always get everything done, and we don't always do it well. But we must remember who we serve, the citizens of the county, the property owners, and the business owners. They're not all the same sometimes. We must be truthful and authentic, especially in times of heightened distrust in government. We must recognize our individual weaknesses as we realize the strengths of working together. We are stronger together, we're smarter together, and by working together, we'll be more successful. We are witnessing more poverty in our communities, more families disadvantaged, and more children in harm's way than ever before. That is troubling many of us. It's adding to the environment of greater political tension in our country, divide, and infighting. We can and we must do better here in Clackamas County. We must rise above. I have and will continue to fight for the other dog. It's how I'm wired. I have always fought for the underdog. And to that end, the underserved and the disadvantaged, and boy, there are a lot of people that are underserved and disadvantaged today. Too often, political power and influence overshadow the needs of the community. We must recognize to earn the trust of our citizens, and in some instances, that begins with recognizing where the county has failed them. The time to be bold, honest, and courageous is upon us. The last 12 years has revealed that the county residents are paying attention, and many are reminded every fall when their property tax statement arrives. We can remedy those remaining obligations, and I will do my best to right the wrongs. For example, we have fulfilled promises, or excuse me, for example, have we fulfilled promises of past voter-approved measures, districts, and levies? Did the county meet the obligations promised to the voters of our districts? While our districts now provide county services to provide revenue and relieve the county of financial obligations, are the inequities resolved? Are we mindful that the unincorporated portion of the county is no less important than the city county counterparts? I witnessed injustices over the last 25 years. As more people retire, institutional memory is in shorter supply. The commission must take time to do the research, to learn, and to be judicious. The time for action is now. We must take the steps that ensures organizational leadership is high-performing, introspective, and nimble. One critical tool I pushed for 12 years ago was a strategic plan, and out of that came managing for results. We call it MFR. While progress has been made, the end result will be metrics that guide good decision-making. I recognize a lot of good work has gone into MFR. In closing, I again want to recognize our great staff for their great work, my fellow elected officials here in the room, here at the county, all of you, and our city partners as well. Let's celebrate our successes, acknowledge the work underway, and solve the remaining issues at hand. To my supporters, thank you again for this awesome, tremendous responsibility and opportunity to serve. In closing, I want to recognize my family who have had to endure the anguish and sacrifices this position imposes upon them. God bless us all, and thank you.
All right, folks, that's it. Please stick around and mix and mingle, and thank you all for attending.